Welcome back to Game Tiered, and today I won't be tiering a game, but instead I wanted to go over my thoughts and really just explain how I approach my review process. Let's start. There's 4 topics I want to go over: what these videos even are, how to future-proof them, how to handle a game's DLC, and when modding a game becomes necessary. I want to make this undoubtedly clear. These videos aren't and never will be retrospectives. I will never 100% a game for a review unless a game has no side content or I'm just having that much fun with a game, in which case an S tier is a foregone conclusion. The only issue I see with this is if I only consider what is required to beat the game and the things that I personally liked doing, but disregard everything optional that I didn't like doing or something that was widely hated that I didn't end up doing. It feels like a disservice to not only the people who didn't like the game for reasons I never realized, but to people who do like the game and wanted to see if there was something that they didn't consider, as unlikely as that person is to exist. My only solution to this is assuring myself through my own arrogance that I don't need to complete a game 100% to share my thoughts and opinion on it, and that I'm not determining how objectively good or bad a game is. I'm just talking about my experience, and the better that experience was, the higher on the tier list it'll be. That's another thing. If you disagree with any of my tierings, I cannot encourage you more to make your own tier list. Play through the game. Type down what you thought in Notepad and tier the game when you've written what you think about it. Maybe that game I gave a C tier to is good, but just wasn't for me. Another thing to consider is just because 2 games are in the same tier doesn't mean that they're good for the same reasons. An okay game with some great parts can end up in the same tier as an amazing game with 1 or 2 absolutely egregious parts. This is a big reason I'll probably never review the online portion of a game, or at least portions that require servers to be running, because I want these videos to be as future-proof as possible. It means I won't be able to talk about online multiplayer games, potentially. Obviously, this will be a case-by-case basis, and local multiplayer will be talked about if and when I have someone to record with. Basically, if I talk about something that can be made inaccessible and that thing is made inaccessible, then I feel like the video isn't representing my thoughts on a game accurately anymore, making my tiering inauthentic with how I feel about a game. This also extends to games that are being actively updated, since things could change mid-review or be removed or changed once the video releases. And don't get me started on if devs use my videos as what should be changed, as unlikely as I think that is to happen. There's 2 solutions to this that I see. Either don't review games that are online only or are likely to be updated into different games, and only really talk about them on stream or videos that aren't game tiered episodes. The only issue is that I'm not writing down and truly processing my thoughts and thinking about if I'm phrasing them the way that I want, or if I'll believe what I say a week from now, regardless of the game's state. The second solution is to make the videos and just put outdated in the video title if the servers go down, and do the same in addition to making an amendment video if the game gets updated. And I don't really like this. Best case scenario, if I review a game and it gets updated 3 days later, fine, I can go over the new stuff and how my thoughts have changed in an amendment video. But it will be an issue if I review other games in between that time, and other episodes will show a given game in B tier and others in A tier, and I do think that the first solution is better, as I think it will make the whole series just more cohesive. Another issue I've actually encountered is DLC. When I reviewed Costume Quest, I had the DLC but never mentioned it, and I got really lucky with that, since that game's DLC can only be accessed through the main menu and doesn't add anything directly into the main game. But other games don't do this, which is fine, but it makes things difficult when I can't tell the base game apart from the DLC. One solution is just make it clear when I'm playing, say, a special or Game of the Year edition that may or does include DLC, or when the review will include DLC content. Another solution is making a sister series named DLC Tiered and review the tier list. Wait, what? And review and review and tier list DLCs for games. I might just stick with the first option, mainly because I don't know what a sister series logo would look like. And the reason I'm concerned with this in the first place is in the event that I mention something that I like, but don't clarify that it's from DLC because I didn't know any better, then someone agrees with me and buys the base game, and then realizes that they now need to spend another, say, $15 or whatever on the DLC that they want, I would feel partially responsible for wasting that person's money and time. So, I have arachnophobia, the fear of spiders and scorpions. Scorpions I can handle, but I always mod spiders out of a game if there isn't a dedicated arachnophobia mode. Sadly, this is non-negotiable, unless I don't find the spiders that bad for whatever reason in a specific game, so if the game becomes easier or I end up having an incomplete experience because I modded the spiders out of a game and they don't get replaced with another enemy, so be it. Though I will always disclose when I am using mods, and I will always go into what mods I am using. And the same goes for nudity, because this is YouTube and it's less censoring in post for me. I might go into modding for fun, but that would only be for games where the modding is a large part of the game's community. But because of how easy it is to just mod a game to an S tier at the cost of not even really playing the same game as someone who doesn't have access to mods, it might look more like me talking about how dedicated and large a given game's modding scene is. So, yeah, if you have any solutions to any of these problems, I'd be happy to hear it, though I'm unsure of how to credit people for the ideas I implement, so I apologize in advance for that. The next episode will either be Marvel's Spider-Man or Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2, but with that being said, take care everyone.